ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 92nd class. वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय
We are seeing the topic now, the topic. Last but one, or the last but two. One more topic, even Mukti and Karma is there. Aikyam, Jiveshwara, Aikyam. Who is a Jiva? Stula Sharira Abhimani Atma is called Jiva. Atma, that is I, the self, which is Abhimana, or I, the Atma, the self, that which has Abhimana with the Stula Shariram is called Jiva. It is not that the Atma has got that Abhimana. That Abhimana is considered to be, is considered that Atma is, seems Atma as. So therefore, for the sake of the definition, we can say Stula Sharira Abhimani Atma. Atma identified with the Stula Shariram is Jiva, that is me, myself. What is the nature of me? I, the Atma. So this I identifies up to Stula Shariram, starting from Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and Stula Shariram. Identify with the Sharira Trayam as myself, and everything other than this, other than these three, the three Shariram, it's considered to be different from me. That is why I is confined to the periphery of the body, confined to the periphery of this Stula Sharira. Stula Sharira Abhimanam, when we say, it includes Sukshma Sharira Abhimanam also. Because Stula Sharira Abhimanam is possible only through Sukshma Sharira Abhimanam. That Stula Sharira Abhimanam goes away when the Sukshma Shariram departs from the body. So therefore, the Stula Sharira Abhimani Atma takes on the guna, the qualities of the Stula Shariram, including that of Sukshma Shariram, as one's own, the qualities. It means Jiva, the person, doesn't see himself or herself more than what this physical body is. What this subtle body, that is mind, indriyas, they belong to subtle body. So therefore, he doesn't know the real self. He doesn't know himself, the Atma. That person is called a Jiva. Jiva Namakam, having the name Jiva. So that Satchit Ananda Atma, that Brahma alone is Jiva. That Jiva, because of that is Abhimanam with the Shariram, it is confined to be limited. Therefore, this Jiva, this person, is conscious of the mind, is conscious of the senses, is conscious of the physical body, Sthula Shariram, and is conscious of the very I notion, that Agankara, the I notion. The I notion, body, mind, senses, with all E has got this Abhimana. Therefore, the consciousness enjoyed by this I notion, the Agankara, and this body mind sense complex, that consciousness is Satchit Ananda Atma. So that alone is the Adhara, the Adhisthana, based on which this body mind sense, this identification, this I notion, everything depends. So minus that, this Abhimana is not possible for the Jiva. So therefore, the consciousness plus the body mind sense complex. And the body mind sense complex, this Agankara, they're all Mithya. So the consciousness, the Chaitanyam is Brahma. And that alone, this body enjoys. Body is consciousness, not by itself, not Swarupataha. Similarly, the mind is conscious, not by itself. The sense organs are conscious, not by itself. They're all Jadam. They enjoy consciousness. Ahankara also Jadam only. This Ahankara, that also Jadam only. Behind every thought, this Ahankara, this I is the identified with this body, mind, sense complex, and this, that even with the thought, Ahankara. For everything, this Chaitanyam is the Adhara. So therefore, that Chaitanyam, that is the Swarupa of the Jiva. When the Jiva with this body, mind, sense setup, when the identification with this limited body, body, mind, sense happens, then that Atma as though becomes a limited Jiva. It is not that Atma can be limited, can become limited. It cannot become. It cannot be incomplete. That which is complete, that which is adequate is this Chaitanyam Atma, which is Jagat Karanam Brahma. That is what the Shruti says. So therefore, the limitedness is because of this Abhimana. So this body, mind, senses, they all enjoy this consciousness. They all enjoy consciousness. Because they enjoy consciousness, therefore, there is a mistake done, the Jiva, that he thinks they are all conscious, they are all consciousness by nature. That is a mistake. If that is so, then the body has to be conscious all the time. The mind also has to be conscious all the time. Sense organs has to be active and conscious all the time, but that doesn't happen. With regard to the different avasthas, we have done the avasthatraya viveka, the panchakosha viveka. The body is not conscious all the time. When the jiva departs from the body becomes jadam. Even while living also, it is jadam only. It enjoys consciousness because it borrows, as though it borrows. If we can use the word borrow. The borrow, it enjoys borrowed consciousness. It is not swataha. Swataha, Satat Chaitanyam, it is not conscious by itself. Enjoys borrowed consciousness. Similarly, mind also. Similarly, sense organs also. Therefore, the consciousness, we can say, it is that consciousness is Atma. Since this body, mind, senses is Ahankara, they enjoy consciousness. Therefore, we say this as a reflected consciousness. The consciousness is reflected in this medium called mind. The main medium is mind. And it is extended to the body, mind, senses. There is always the thought, I, not as Sachidananda Atma. I is as limited. I thought, behind every thought, the I thought is the Adhara. When you think of something, who is thinking? I am thinking. I think. I is there. So, with reference to this I thought, we say that I thought, with reference to the I thought, we say that it is Chit Abhasa. Chit Abhasa, that is reflected consciousness. I as alone, not confined, unconfined I, Atma is Chit. But this I which is confined with regard to a thought, we say it is Chit Abhasa, Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. So, therefore, this jiva is nothing but a reflection of consciousness, reflection of Brahma. Therefore, Jivaha Brahma Pratibhimbam Bhavati. So this Jiva is not this Stula Shariram, nor Sukshma Shariram, nor Karna Shariram, is a conscious, he is conscious. The consciousness is its nature, its Swarupam. The Shariram being Jadam, Nitya. Because of Brahma, because of Chaitanyam, because of Chaitanyam only is a conscious being. With the Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, etc., with all the Upadhi is a conscious being. How does he become a conscious being? This is because in the Antakaranam, in the mind, the consciousness is present. Consciousness is present everywhere. Consciousness is present everywhere. It is not that it is only present in the mind, it is present everywhere. But in the mind, it is reflected. As the sunlight is everywhere, but it is reflected in a pure or in a certain media like mirror or water, the sunlight is reflected. Similarly, the mind is it's a special media where it is reflected. The eye notion, the eye sense, the thought, it is a Chidabhasa that is not separate from consciousness. The whole mind is not separate from consciousness. That non-separation from consciousness with regard to the thought, etc. This is called a pratibimba. And we saw this is pratibimba is a particular vada. It is a particular model, particular stand, which is very useful to understand what is this Jiva and Brahma, what is the connection between them. Even though there are many different types of prakriyas, the methods of revealing the nature of Atma, the Pratibimba Vada is famous. It is attributed by many people to Shankara Bhagavad-pada, this Pratibimba Vada. He says that any thought is not independent of consciousness. There is a presence of consciousness in every thought, every vritti. And every vritti means thought. The presence of consciousness in a thought is called pratibimba, the reflection. So we call it reflection because the thought itself is nothing but a name and form. Any thought, any vritti, it has got a name and form. Being name and form, therefore they are mithya. Being mithya, the thought has really no being. Its nature is not consciousness. It is conscious because of the presence of consciousness in the mind. The thought occurs in the mind, or the mind is nothing but a flow of thoughts. And the thoughts are illumined as though illumined because of this reflection of consciousness. Because mind being a media perfect for reflecting or manifesting this consciousness. So therefore, the thoughts are illumined. So therefore, what is the source of consciousness? There is no other source of consciousness than Brahma, Brahma alone. Therefore, the consciousness obtained in the mind, in the Antakaranam, is called Pratibimba. And this Jiva, therefore, this Jiva is called Brahma Pratibimba. And the consciousness reflected in the mind, the Antakaranam, is called Chit Abhasa. The Jiva also can be called Chidabhasa because it's not different from the mind because of his abhimana with the thoughts of the mind. So therefore he is Chidabhasa. So Jiva is Chidabhasa. Jiva is Brahma Pratibimba. It means because it is Pratibimba, reflection, therefore it is not real, it is mithya. It is only a reflection. Therefore, this Ahankara, it is purely mithya. because it doesn't have separate existence apart from this consciousness. So therefore it is pratibimba is mithya. We use the word, we translate the word pratibimba as reflection, but the word reflection is a limited word. We have to understand the meaning of the word reflection. Reflection, generally when we say reflection, there must be the reflecting media. So three things will be there. The image will be there, the reflection is there, and the reflecting media. When you see your face on the mirror, you are there, the mirror is there, and the reflected image is there. The reflected image in the mirror, it is not really you. It is, if you stand, the left side will seem to appear on the right side, and right side will seem to appear on the left side. This is how the image is. The image is, in fact, opposite. So therefore, when we say reflection, that since that implies reflection media, and the reflection media has got all the limitations, and that media, the reflection media, the reflecting media, is it independent of Brahma? So all these questions will arise. And as I told, every model is a limited model, is limited only. We have to understand what the model conveys. So therefore here, since three things are present, the original is the image, and the reflection or the reflecting media, they are also mithya only. Like in this case, this Chaitanyam is there, and the Chaitanyam is reflected in the reflecting medium called Antakaranam, and therefore the reflection is Chit Abhasa. So Chaitanyam, that original consciousness, if we say that is real, that alone is what it is. Then the Antakaranam, the reflecting media, it is, and the reflected, they are mithya. Chit Abhasa doesn't exist. That Abhasa is reflection. The reflection because of this Chit. Chit Abhasa is because of Chit. The content of Chit Abhasa is Chit. Therefore, Chit alone is Satyam. Everything else is Mithya. Therefore, the reflecting media, the Antakaranam, the mind is Mithya. So, if it is Mithya, then what is the reflection? The reflection is also Mithya. Therefore, Mithya is an appropriate word to understand this, the nature of Jiva. The author points out the problem of Jiva because of this Abhimana. If I understand myself to be Satchit Ananda Brahma, the Chaitanyam, then I will see Advaitam. I see one with everything. If I miss this Chaitanyam and come down to the level of body, mind, sense complex, then only all the differences come. The difference from one individual to another individual to the Jagat, and all these things, this individual and that Ishvara, the individual and the total, the difference, all the differences arise. Jiva Jiva Beda, Jiva Jagat Beda, and Jiva Ishvara Beda. All the differences, come only when I don't appreciate the Chaitanyam to be myself, when I don't understand to be myself. There are many vessels of water, and on the vessel there is a reflection of sun. How many suns are there? There is only one sun, but this one sun seems to be appearing many suns. There is no word suns really, and they seem to be appear different because of maybe the quality of the water, the content of the vessel. It appears to be different, but there is only one sun. If you miss the sun, then you will take that to be different suns, different reflection. There only Dvaitam walks in. There is only Suryaha is Ekaha, Advaita Surya. Surya is only one. There are no two suns. But the one sun appears to be many because of the various reflection. Sahayeva means that Brahma Chaitanyam, the Brahma, that Chaitanyam, he alone, now it is reflected in the many upadhis, and therefore Stula Sharira Abhimani, the Jiva, there seems to be difference between them. And this Jiva, Prakritya, without thinking, that is due to Ajnana, the self-ignorance, Swasmad Ishwaram Bhinnatvena Janati. He vehemently claims I am different from Ishvara. He doesn't know himself. He doesn't know himself, and therefore he says I am different from Ishvara. If he knows who he is, then if he claims, at least we can accept. Without knowing this nature of oneself, he says I am different from Ishvara. But that self-ignorance is not what he is creation. It is by Svabhava. It is by nature. Everybody is born with this ignorance. Ignorance as the capital, everybody is born. So by Svabhava, by his nature, it is not its Swarupa, it is Svabhava. There is a difference between the words Swarupa and Svabhava. The Swarupa of Jiva is Chaitanyam, but the Svabhava, which is because of Prakriti, because of Ajnanam, that Svabhava, that is that conclusion based on without inquiry, the conclusion without inquiry, this is called Avichara Siddha. That is Svabhava. Prakritya, Svabhava, without inquiry, without any pramana, without operating any means of knowledge, without even questioning, doubting, thinking, he concludes, I am different from Ishvara. So therefore, since Ishvara is the Jagat Karanam, is a creator, therefore the created and the Ishvara and the other jivas all as something different from me. So therefore only the Veda, therefore only the Dvaita. The Ishvara, who is the creator, Jagatkarta, Srishtikarta, and Layakarta, the total is different from me. Therefore, the individual, becomes a limited, and I am separate from Ishvara. Some people, they have this idea, the conclusion. Ishvara is not separate from you, but you are separate from Ishvara. You are only a fraction of Ishvara. Ishvara includes you. You don't include Ishvara in you. You are only a spark, a divine spark. Swamiji used to say this spark philosophy. The spark philosophy is a problematic philosophy. The spark comes from this philosophy, it comes from this notion. You are a part of Ishvara. You are not Ishvara. Like a leaf is not a tree. A leaf is included in the tree, but a leaf is not a tree. So this is how they say this. They give many examples like this. A leaf is not a tree. A leaf is included in the tree. Similarly, you are just a leaf, and the tree is Ishvara. Therefore, you cannot be Ishvara. Iti, that Veda is, already the Veda is there, and they make this Veda, the difference very strong by this philosophy. So, there is some truth in that, but it is not absolute truth. From the leaf standpoint, definitely leaf is not a tree. Leaf is not a tree. But the problem here is, they think the Brahma also, like a tree, consists of many parts, avayavas. A tree has many parts. Leaves are there, branches are there, roots are there, subroots are there, flowers are there, fruits are there. All these are parts of the tree. So they make the tree. So therefore the tree is intelligently put together. It is put together. It is an assemblage. Brahma is not an assemblage. then if it is an assemblage, then you can become a part of the Brahma. Leaf will never become a tree. We know, we understand. It is always separate, binna. When it is separate from this tree, then if a jiva is separate from the Ishvara, then moksha is not possible for the jiva. So when we say this example, but you have to bring in our understanding. Brahma is without parts. If it has parts, then it is like a vriksha or it is like any human being. It is subject to destruction. That which has parts undergoes changes. It becomes vyaya. We say Brahma is avyaya, doesn't undergo any change. There is no janma for Brahma, there is no maranam for Brahma, there is no the vikara of Brahma, asti jayate, vardate, viparinamate, pakshiyate, nashyati. These vikaras are not possible for Brahma. Why? Because it is avyayam Brahma. Because it is avyayam, doesn't have parts, therefore it is avyayam. Therefore, only it cannot do any action. Avikriyaha Atma, we say. Atma cannot do any karma, neither cause someone to do karma. Na karta, na karayita. So to do karma, it must have parts. That must have hands, that must have legs. Some movement is where there is movement, then it is limited, because movement involves the spatial, the coverage, moving from one place to another person. All these things will make limited. Therefore, Brahma will become limited. If it is limited, then it has parts. But we say Brahma is Purna, it is complete. So, therefore, quoting this example to say that Jiva is separate from Ishvara, it is not correct. If it is separate, if Jiva is separate from Ishvara, then moksha is not possible. The separation becomes Satyam. The separation becomes Satyam. You cannot be one with Ishvara. So we say, even Advaita, we say you don't become one with Ishvara. There is no becoming one. You are Ishvara. That is what our Siddhanta is, our conclusion is. You don't become one with Ishvara. To become one with Ishvara, Ishvara has to be somewhere and you have to be elsewhere. You have to travel to become one with Ishvara. If Ishvara is somewhere located, then Ishvara also becomes limited. We don't say Ishvara locates somewhere. Everything is Ishvara, Bhagavan, and you are not separate from the Ishvara. Therefore, there is no becoming one. That oneness is the truth. So, therefore only moksha is possible only through this jnana, the knowledge. So, when you understand that that Jiva is nothing but Ishvara, and therefore you have to know Aham Brahma, I am Brahma, which is Ishvara, then only moksha is. And if you say I am a fraction of Ishvara, Ishvara is very glorious, he has got all the vibhuti, and whatever, that is fine. Ishvara has got all the vibhutis, and whatever vibhuti, the glory I enjoy, it is Ishvara's glory is fine. But to say I am a fraction, when you say, then you continue to be a bhakta. There is a bhakta Bhagavan relationship. In fact, that is not bhakti. Really speaking, that is not bhakti also. Shankaracharya beautifully says in Viveka Chudamani, Swaswarupanusandanam bhaktihi iti abhidiyate. Swaswarupa anusandana. One has to do anusandanam, nididhyasanam of one's swarupa, the nature, to understand that Aham Brahma Asmi, that is called bhakti. So, therefore, because you take Ishvara to be away from you by Svabhava, Prakritya, due to Ajnanam, ignorance, without any inquiry, and this Svabhava is universal, therefore, everyone has this self-ignorance, or everyone is self-ignorant. Everyone universally committing the mistake of taking oneself to be this limited physical body, taking on the qualities of the physical body, all the Sharira Trayam to be one's quality. So this is Prakritya, it is universal. Therefore, the ignorance is universal. And one doesn't take the qualities of other physical body. Why? Because Sukshma Sharira, everybody has got individual Sukshma Sharira, and the Sukshma Sharira is identified with only one physical body. That only accounts for the difference between the identification of the individual Jiva. If your body is troubled, I am not troubled, I don't suffer, because the Sukshma Sharira identifies with your body. My Sukshma Sharira identifies with my body. It is confined to my body. Therefore only you become an entity, an individual, and therefore only the transaction with the world. And the world is too big, and you are so small compared to the world. Therefore only you have to struggle all the time to become somebody, because there is a struggle and there always will be someone who is better than me. So therefore I never give up. I fight and fight. That is our nature, that fighting to become more. That is Ajnanam. That it is based on the appreciation of this unreal difference. Unreal difference. So therefore, this will go on. This will go on until one discover one's Swarupa. One's Swarupa as that of the same Ishvara. One understands. As long as one doesn't understand, this struggle will go. Doesn't understand that I am not separate, non-separate from the total Ishvara. All that is here is Bhagavan. Bhagavan has got no limits. Bhagavan doesn't have to become free, and I am not separate from Bhagavan. This knowledge, what covers this knowledge is ignorance. It is Ajnanam, that ignorance, that is Prakritya. Prakritya Swasmat Binnatvena Janati. Ishwaram Binnatvena Janati. Therefore, only he considers Ishvara to be different. So, therefore, there is no difference in essence, but there is difference from the standpoint of this body, mind, sense complex called Upadhi. You have to understand the difference is there, at the same time, difference is not there. The difference is not there essentially. From the standpoint of the Swarupa, the nature, there is no difference between Jiva and the Ishvara. From the standpoint of the Upadhi, there is difference between the Jiva and the Ishvara. From the standpoint of the Upadhi. Upadhi is this body, mind, sense, that Sangata, that is the Upadhi. We have individual Upadhi, limited Upadhi. Ishvara has got total Upadhi. If you remove this Upadhi, not physically, you cannot remove the Upadhi physically. The Upadhi, removal of Upadhi physically, it is Maranam only. That also only the Sukshma Sharira only can be separated. Goes away. Sukshma Sharira gets separated from the Stula Upadhi. Therefore, remove this Upadhi, not physically, but by knowledge. But by knowledge, that understanding that it is Mithya, then what is only this Ekam Brahma Chaitanyam, that Atma, that by that knowledge only, this Upadhi is negated, sublated. So when that is done, there is neither Jiva nor Ishvara. Jiva and Ishvara exist only conditionally. What is the condition? The condition being Upadhi. The condition being Avidya for Jiva and Maya for Ishvara. Both are Upadhi, Avidya, Maya, they are Upadhi. If there is no ignorance, there is no Ajnanam, then all that is here is only Chaitanyam, Bhagavan alone, Ishvara alone. So therefore only here, if you see the author from the beginning, how he presents the topic, talks of Jiva, then Jiva Srishti, then Ishvara Srishti, then Ishvara, then Jiva Ishvara Veda he presents, and how it is born of Ajnanam, and it is that Ajnanam, when that Ajnanam, how that is how it is in the removal of Ajnanam, how this Aikya Jnanam happens. And born of this ignorance only, this samsara. So what is samsara? Samsara is nothing but the product of this ajnana. Where ajnanam is, samsara is. Just therefore, samsara is a life of becoming. Always want to become something. That becoming something, that is what is samsara is. You don't have to become someone to feel better. You are Bhagavan when we say. When the Shastram says you are Jagat Karanam Brahma Ishvara, then why this attempt because of the complex to become better than the other one? You cannot become better than the other one. From Upadhi standpoint, you can become, and Upadhi is always limited and it is subject to change. You cannot make it better. Even if you make it better today, it will get change, it will undergo change tomorrow. Therefore, samsara is nothing but a life of becoming. So therefore, avidya upadisan atma jivaha iti uchyate. This atma chaitanyam, when it is associated with avidya upadi, it is called jiva. Atma cannot have association. The translation also is a limited word, the translation. Atma, when it is conditioned, as though conditioned by avidya upadi. That is for that only the word associated we use. Atma cannot have association or dissociation. When everything is Atma, with what Atma can have association? So Atma conditioned by this avidya upadi is called jiva. So why this jiva feeling isolated and miserable? Because of this avidya upadi, because of this conditioning. Even though jiva is Satchit Ananda Atma in reality, it becomes conditioned because of this conditioning called ajnanam. Therefore only he suffers. Therefore only samsara is. Therefore only the life of becoming. So therefore the Atma is the Swarupa, the essential nature of Jiva is consciousness, and that consciousness is Sat, limitless existence. It is Chit, the consciousness. It is not limited, unlimited. Therefore, Ananta, that is its Swarupa, and it cannot come and go because it's Swarupa, it is its nature. Therefore, that can never become Asat. That can never become Asat. That which is Asat is Mithya. The Shariram is Asat. The mind is Asat. In the Asat mind only, the Sat Chaitanyam is reflected as though conditioned. That is called Pratibimba. Therefore, this Chaitanya Atma alone, because of avidya, is called Jiva. The avidya is an avarana, it's a cover. It covers the buddhi, the antakarna, and therefore you take the physical, this body, mind, senses as yourself. That mistaken notion, the mistaken notion as well as the cause of the notion is called avidya. Avidya upadhi, yasya saha, who has got this avidya upadhi. That avidya upadhi, avidya upadhi, atma becomes jivaha iti. What about Ishvara? Maya upadhi is an atma. Ishvaraha iti uchyate. The atma, the same atma, when it is as though conditioned by, associated with the Maya upadhi, is called Ishvaraha. Maya upadhi is an Ishvaraha. Ishvara also is the same Atma alone. Because this we use the word Brahma Atma because they are same. Atma is Satchidananda, Brahma is Satchitananda. Therefore, the word mean the same thing only, Satchit Ananda only. The Satchidananda Atma due to avidya is called Jiva, due to Maya Upadhi is called Ishvara. From the total standpoint is called Ishvara. As the avidya Upadhi is Mithya, similarly the total Maya is also Mithya. Because of this Maya Upadhi, which is Sattva predominant, therefore Ishvara doesn't have avidya. That is the difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva as avidya, because this it is Jiva is under the influence of avidya, therefore Jiva is controlled by or influenced by avidya, whereas Ishvara is not influenced by this upadhi. That's why upadhi of Ishvara is called Maya upadhi. It is under the it is under the control of Ishvara. It is the Ishvara is not influenced by this upadhi. Maya to Prakritim Vidya, Mayinam to Maheshwaram. He is called Mayinam, the one who wields this Maya. So, if Ishvara also has avidya, then it's a problem. Then what happens when he requires to study Shastram under a guru? Then he has to become free. Then that's a problem. So for Ishvara, Maya is not a problem. For Jiva, avidya is a problem. So, Jiva, that Ishvara and Maya, they continue. Whether you become Mukta or not, that it will continue. But for you, what happens when you are awake to this knowledge? What happens in the wake of knowledge? You understand this Stula Sharira is Ishvara, Sukshma Sharira is Ishvara. It is all Brahmashaya Maya, and that from that alone it has come, and they will continue. So in the wake of Jnanam, your ignorance will go, and this understanding, this avidya is not there. This avidya is removed. Therefore, you understand everything to be Ishvara. So that avidya is not there in Ishvara. Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, and Ishvara is Sarvajna. He doesn't require a mind to know. The ignorance is only there for you, and therefore, when the ignorance goes away by Jnanam, you understand Ishvara, who is Sarvajna, therefore you are Sarvajna. If that ignorance is not there in you, then all the way it is only Ishvara alone. But because ignorance is there, therefore only Jnanam is required, therefore only Shastram is required. So, Brahma with individual upadhi, therefore we can say finally, after you can define Jiva now, this Brahma with individual upadhi, the individual upadhi is the given body mind sense complex, is called Jiva. With knowledge, he becomes a Jivan Mukta, and Brahma with this Samashti upadhi is called Ishvara. So Jiva, when he gains Jnanam, he becomes a Jnani, becomes a Jivan Mukta. So for Jiva, this possibility is given. He can be free. While living, he can be free. How? By understanding, by knowing. By knowing that this upadhi is mithya. This upadhi is mithya, and that by gaining jnanam, he understands that Agam Jagat Karanam Brahma is not different from me. Swasmat Binnatvena. That Binnatvam is the Janati, that is negated. It goes away in the wake of Jnanam. So, even though he enjoys the individual upadhi, the upadhi becomes a luxury for him. The upadhi becomes luxury. After Jnanam, when he becomes a Jivan Mukta, it doesn't mean that this upadhi will go away. The upadhi is born of the prarabdha karma. This upadhi is born of certain prarabdha karma, and that has to fructify in this upadhi itself while living. So he has to survive with this upadhi. The upadhi will continue. The upadhi is like a burnt rope. It cannot bind a person. He continues to be free. So therefore, the confining of the Sukshma Sharira to a given physical body, that continues until the prarabdha of the person is exhausted. So that's why after knowledge, the Jiva, the Mukta, the one who has become free by Jnanam, it continues as Jivan Mukta. Living is free. That Jiva alone can appreciate Ishvara as myself. Is called a Jnani. Therefore, The Jnani is one who has got this essential, the knowledge of essential oneness with Ishvara. By Jnanam, he has dismissed, this Abhimana with this limited Upadhi. Does it have Abhimana with the total Upadhi? That total Upadhi is Ishvara. In the Vyavahara only this Upadhi. From the absolute standpoint, it is only Brahma. Therefore, he becomes one with Brahma, we say. He doesn't become, he is Brahma. He appreciates or he understands that he is not different from Brahma. That is the oneness. That is the knowledge which a Jiva gains by the study of the Shastram under the guidance of the Guru, and he becomes free. Becoming free is not becoming free from Upadhi. This is why it is being said is people think by Jnanam one becomes free from Sharira Upadhi, Sharira problem. Sharira will continue. Sharira being Upadhi, it will continue with all its limitations, all its problem, it will continue, but the person is not influenced, the Jnani is not influenced by the limitations of the Upadhi. With Upadhi is free, and without Upadhi continues to be free. That is what we call Jivan Mukti and Videka Mukti. Upadhi is not a problem for him. Upadhi is a problem only for an Ajnani. It is not a problem for a Jnani, because Upadhi is Mithya. The word Upadhi to be understood, what Upadhi is. In some books, you will see that Upadhi, it is translated as adjunct. It is this body, mind, sense, that complex, that is called Upadhi. Upadhi is that where there is the reflection of this Chit, the Chaitanya. Because of this Upadhi only, there is a notion, Aham Jivaha, that notion is there. Because of this Upadhi only. Similarly, Ishvara, we say that is also because of Upadhi. Because there is a notion that there is individual, therefore only Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, the differences are there. Therefore only Shastram has to interfere and say there is no difference, there is complete Abhedaha, there is only non-difference. Where there is two, there Dvaitam walks in. Two means not literally two. Two means two stands for more than one. That is Dvaitam. Dvivachanam. Dvi is either more than one, two or more than one. That is. So, Advaitam, when we say not Dvaitam, not two. Not two, there is only, it is only not Dvaitam. It is not, doesn't say Ekam. Doesn't say Ekam, not Dvaitam. There is no two. Because we have this, the notion of two. Therefore, only not Dvaitam, Advaitam, not two. We don't say that there is only one. We say there is no two. Why should we say not two? Because there is a notion of many. That should be negated. Therefore, the Aikyam, the oneness is to be established. And the knowledge of Aikyam alone removes the samsara, the sense of limitation. So therefore, only the Jnanam is. So, therefore, this is that Jnanam is Aikya Jnanam. We have to talk about Aikyam only when there is a difference. Differences are appreciated in Vyavahara. That differences you cannot remove, that continue to be there. With understanding, you see, you dismiss these differences as Mithya. That is what Jnanam is. Suppose you go to a pot shop. There are so many pots. Not only pots, there are so many objects which are made of pots are there. Tumblers, plate, lids, jar, etc. Various sizes and shapes are available. Now there is a small pot. A small pot which can hold only 100 milliliter of water, let us say. And there is a huge pot. Now this small pot, it sees all the objects, and the huge pot. The small pot, which is a subject, with respect to the small pot, the subject, other parts are object. So one subject and many objects. For this part, there is a division. The pot, suppose it assume that pot is a conscious being. Now the pot may think, I am a limited individual, I am insignificant, I am so small. The subject-object division comes, that is Dvaitam. When the small pot sees a huge pot, what it will do? It is afraid of the huge pot because so big in size. It is so big in size. So it is afraid of the huge pot. The small pot is nothing but the Jivatma. Sumati ji, please mute your mic. I keep muting and you keep unmuting. There's some noises at your side.
Fine.
The small part is the Jivatma, and the huge part is the Paramatma. That Jivatma part feels limited. It feels limited. Therefore, there is an attempt on this part of the small Jivatma part to become free, to become unlimited. It wants to join the total, the Paramatma. That the joining is called yoga. But how the joining is possible, that we will see later. The joining is called yoga. Yoga is the word derived from the yuj dhatu. Yuj means to join. Because a dhatu artha, yuj means to join, therefore only the idea is Jivatma should join with the Paramatma. That is a merging, physical merging. Because there is a division, that notional division, it doesn't understand it is notional. For him, the division is real. Therefore, it wants to join. That is called yoga. This is the interpretation of yoga by different people with a little Sanskrit knowledge. They will explain huge meaning to join. Therefore, Jivatma joins with the Paramatma. Because we know a little Vedanta, we should ask the people who interprets like this. Jivatma joining with Paramatma. If they say, why they want to join? Because there is division. Now, is the division Satyam? If the division is Satyam, then how can Jivatma join with Paramatma? The division is Satyam. That is, Dvaitam is Satyam. If Dvaitam is Satyam, Jivatma continues to be Jivatma. Paramatma continues to be Paramatma. So, how can Jivatma join with Paramatma if the division is Satyam? Even if you says joining, even if it merges with Paramatma, there is a possibility of separation. There is a possibility of separation. Before joining, how did the separation come? How it was separate before? Before joining, it was separate. Now it has joined. Again, it can become separate later. So what is that guarantee that it will not become separate again? Therefore, there is no joining business. No fusion is required between Jivatma and Paramatma. This small part, the Jivatma, is nothing but the clay. The pot is small pot is nothing but clay. The huge pot, Paramatma, is also nothing but clay. So both are essentially clay. The small pot is clay, the huge pot also is clay. Therefore, essentially being clay, that essential identity is there in terms of being clay. Only the sizes are different. Only the upadhis are different. Only the forms are different. Forms are mithya. Forms are upadhi. Small pot and huge pot have got certain utility in the empirical world. That is different because of the difference in the upadhi. But that doesn't change the nature of the small pot and the big pot. They are clay essentially. When they are clay essentially, when they are already one in terms of being clay, then where is the question of joining? Joining or becoming one. So the same thing for Jivatma and Paramatma. Jivatma and Paramatma, they are essentially they are one in terms of Atma Chaitanyam. So Chaitanya Drishtya, Jivatma Paramatmanogo na Bedaha, Abedaha eva. When there is no difference, where is the question of Jivatma merging with Paramatma? Jivatma is Brahma, Paramatma is Brahma. It is same because of the upadhi difference. Upadhi is mithya. Therefore, upadhi being mithya, that upadhi is only at the vyavahara level, vyavaharika level, transactory level. There is difference. Therefore, there is no question of becoming. That's why we say becoming is samsara. That is the definition of samsara. Becoming, even in the spiritual world, you want to become someone, that is samsara. As it is applicable in the material world, the samsara, the term, similarly in the spiritual world, you want to become a spiritual person. It is also samsara. You don't become spiritual. You are already that. That is what the Shastram says. So becoming is samsara. That's a beautiful definition. Samsara is nothing but a life of becoming. So therefore, since there are differences at the level of upadhi, the difference in fact it is only in terms of upadhi. Therefore, you cannot establish the oneness in terms of upadhi. Upadhis are real for empirical transaction. It is real in the empirical world. Therefore, you don't have to negate upadhi. Upadhi is mithya. From the paramarthika drishtya, from the absolute standpoint, this upadhi is mithya. Therefore, what this small pot has to do now? The small pot has to gain the knowledge that I am not different from the big pot. I am already, I am clay and he is also clay. I am already one with that. As the small pot has to be taught the real nature, that it is not from the big pot. Similarly, the jiva also has to be taught. When the jiva gets his jnanam, it becomes muktaha. It becomes muktaha. Does it gain mukti? It continues to be free. Freedom is already gained, already there. It is siddha vishaya. Moksha is siddha vishaya. What prevents a jiva from being free is this ajnana. That ajnanam prevents from enjoying the freedom. Therefore, this ajnanam, this avidya, that avidya, that alone makes the jiva miserable. And this abhimana with the upadhi, the mithya upadhi, it as though conditions the atma and becomes a jiva atma. So therefore only this jnanam is the only means for moksha iti. Therefore, avidya upadhisan jivaha uchyate. Avidya upadhisan jivaha, and maya upadhisan atma ishvaraha uchyate. So therefore, stula sharira abhimani, let us read that. We have not read, I think. We'll read that. Stula sharira abhimani.
स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी
जीवनामक ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंबं भवति.
जीवनामकं ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंबं भवति.
सह एव जीवः
सह एव जीवः
प्रकृत्या स्वस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति.
प्रकृत्या ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति.
अविद्या उपाधिसन् आत्मा
अविद्या उपाधिसन् आत्मा
जीवः इति उच्यते.
जीवः इति उच्यते.
माया उपाधिसन् आत्मा
माया उपाधिसन् आत्मा
ईश्वरः इति उच्यते.
ईश्वरः इति उच्यते.
एवं उपाधिभेदात् जीवेश्वर भेद दृष्टिः यावत्पर्यन्तं तिष्ठति तावत्पर्यन्तं जन्म मरणादि रूप संसारः न निवर्तते. This line says, as long as this division of difference between Jiva and Ishvara, Jiveshvara Veda, which is due to Upadhi, is there, so long the samsara in the form of Janma, Marana, birth and death, etc., doesn't go away. Evam means as shown before. What was shown before was the difference in the Upadhi of Jiva and Ishvara. Difference in the Upadhi. And this samsara is due to avidya. So yavat paryantam veda drishti, as long as one has this veda drishti, that dvaita drishti, samsara na nivartate, samsara doesn't go, it continues. So therefore veda drishti is the cause for samsara. Veda drishti means the jiva is different from Ishvara. The jiva is different from Ishvara. That drishti, that ajnanam, that is not true. That is therefore it is ajnanam, drishti, that wrong understanding. As long as it doesn't go away, samsara will continue. Why it is due to what it is there? Due to avidya upadhi. Veda drishti is due to avidya upadhi. Vedasya drishti, veda drishti. Drishti means perception, understanding, which is wrong. That a wrong understanding. Taking myself to be really separate from Ishvara, even though it is due to upadhi, that is called veda drishti. Not understanding that all that there is only one satya vastu, Brahma, and that there is no second thing, and that's Jagat. This Jagat really, it is Mithya. What is Satyam is Brahma. That understanding not there. That Abheda Drishti not there. Therefore, Veda Drishti. So the Veda Drishti, that I am different from Brahma, it is due to avidya upadhi, due to ignorance. So yavat tavat means as long, so long. So tavat paryantam, till then, up to that point, what will be there? Samsara will be there. Samsara na nivartate. Samsara, it has got lakshanam. What is its lakshanam? It is characterized by janma maranadi rupaha, in the form of the cycle of janma, marana, etc. Adi padat we can bring sukha, dukkha, vyadi, the disease, old age, etc. This is called samsara. This is called samsara. And therefore only vairagya we say janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam in Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter. Bhagavan Krishna says, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam, seeing the defect of this samsara. So this kind of samsara is there as long as this avidya upadhi is there. As long as you are under the spell of this avidya, the maya, so it will continue. So as long as you are in the dream world, so long you are bound by the dream, the laws of the dream world. Similarly, as long as this vijnanam continues, so long you will be under maya. So therefore, this samsara, born of avidya, will continue. The samsara will continue. Samsaraha na nivartate. So the next line, because this avidya cannot go by itself. Avidya cannot go by itself. It has to go only by knowledge. Therefore, only jnanam is required. So as long as the jnanam doesn't take place, this avidya will continue. But is avidya real? No, because it is not real, because it is mithya. Therefore, the author says, tasmat karanat. Last line.
तस्मात् कारणात्
तस्मात् कारणात्
जीवेश्वरयोगो भेद बुद्धिः
जीवैश्वर्योगो भेदबुद्धिः
स्वीकार्य.
स्वीकार्य.
Because of the reason is, that is what we discussed in the class from the beginning, why that Veda Drishti is not real. It is not real jnanam. Because Veda Drishti, because of ajnanam, tasmat karanat, because of that reason, the difference between Jiva and Ishvara should be connected. Tasmat karanat na svikarya, should not be accepted. Therefore, Veda Drishti, the Veda Buddhi, na svikarya, should not be accepted. Iti. So Veda Drishti is Ajnana Drishti. Ajnana Drishtya eva, this Jiveshwara Veda Drishtihi. Ajnana Nashanena, Nashanat, this Veda Drishti, Drishtihi, Vinashaha Bhavati. Therefore, Veda Drishti Vinashat, Jnanam Bhavati, Jnanena Moksha. Jnanam itself is Moksha. Therefore, the removal of this Veda Drishti is only by Jnanam, and this Veda Drishti is not really there. Therefore, there is no real difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Because of Upadhi only there is difference, and Upadhi is being Mithya, therefore there is no difference between Jiveshwara. That is the Aikyam. This is the Aikyam which the Shastram wants to present. This is a Tatparya of the Shastram. Therefore, only all these discussions are. And it is not going to stop here. The author further he will take up the topic of the Karma, Jivan Mukta, etc. We will see. We will see that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.